masters, and guests. So when uh, when I was going through college, I remember this one course that I took. It was health and wellness, and I remember this phrase that the instructor said to all of us: "Look good, feel good, and be happy," as the title says. And it was the idea of living a healthy life, and that always stuck with me. So in that, it focuses on dieting, exercise, and sleeping well. Of those three, the most important one is probably dieting, because I can imagine a lot of people within our club have probably tried to gain weight, lose weight, or gain muscle. Just to raise your hand, who's tried doing that and failed miserably? I mean, I'm one. So if you want to raise your hand, yeah, see, it happens. One of the things that you need to understand about dieting is, yeah, let's look at the basics, right? So dieting is the food you intake, right? That's basically you follow some particular food plan you have. But why do you need food? Because you need calories. Calories is what? It's energy your body needs. So there's three ways that the body breaks down calories that you intake: metabolism, your resting metabolism, physical activity, and your food breakdown. Of those three, metabolism encompasses 70%. So that's literally just for you to live. Physical activity is something you control, which is about 15 to 25%. And the food breakdown, so that's basically to convert the food into energy, takes about 5%. So think about that for a moment. So I got this information from the National Institute of Health Body Weight Planners, and they did a study. They said if a 200-pound man were to run for an hour for 4 days a week for a month, he would lose 5 pounds, assuming nothing has changed. However, something does happen when you start exercising. You tend to eat more, you take shortcuts. So it's something to be aware of if you're doing dieting. When you start exercising and dieting at the same time, you have to be aware of that. So if you're planning to lose weight right now, I recommend, instead of running for about an hour trying to lose 200 calories, maybe put down that chocolate bar. Which is more time convenient for you? I think choosing down, being careful what you eat is probably much more conducive to losing weight than actually just going out and doing exercise. Just my 2 cents, and it saves you a lot of time. That's why dieting is so important. I recommend, if you try to go on a new diet, go see a nutritionist or a dietitianist. Talk to them and see if they can give you feedback, because your calorie intake that you need for the day is going to be different than mine. So everybody's a little bit different. So that's something to take in consideration when you're trying to go down the path of a healthier life. Now, when it comes to exercise, there's two type of different exercises you can do. You can do cardio, which is aerobic, and you can do weight training, which is anaerobic. Now, cardio, the most popular one tends to be jogging. It's one of the most popular ones to do. However, I would recommend, especially if you're a lot older, I recommend you do walking over jogging, because jogging actually is very bad for your lower extremities, aka for your legs, because jogging has the worst of both worlds in the sense that sprinting is good for short duration but high impact. Walking is good for low impact for long distances. Jogging is high impact and long distance, so it's actually double negative. So it's highly recommended by a lot of coaches that, for people that are trying to live a regular life outside of sports, just do walking or cycling or swimming. Something that's not as intense as jogging, just for food for thought. Then there's weight training. Weight training is probably the one myself and a lot of others like to do because we want to look swole and we want to look good for the ladies. And this is actually really good for, even once again, it's good for seniors as well, because for, I should say seniors, but just for everybody in general, but it helps prevent from you losing muscle mass. So as you get older, you actually have strength training. And I know the CDC actually has a strength training manual in their website that I pulled out before. And it has recommended exercises for people on the older side, so that can maintain their actual strength and actually not lose it over time. Now, the one thing here that we tend to lose a lot of here in the United States, including the military, is sleep. The benefits of sleep should be obvious to everybody, right? If you get enough sleep, this is according to the healthysleep.med.harvard.edu. So I'm not pulling it out of my rear end. I'm pulling this from a good website. It's obvious, right? If you're well slept, you're able to function. You're able to memorize. You remember to just overall perform better in your job. However, if you don't get enough sleep, you begin into sleep deprivation, which is something that I've dealt with a significant amount due to the military. So, great example of this: when I was out training in the woods, they would always sleep deprive us. And I kid you not, I would daze off during the daylight the next day. I wouldn't memorize half the thing they told us. It was just something that they wanted to train us through so you can get used to it. So for you to understand, sleep deprivation is equivalent to being drunk. So if you're driving the next morning and you haven't got enough sleep, you're literally driving drunk. Just for food for thought. Think of it that way. These are the three things you need to be able to do to live a better, healthier life. However, the key thing for all three of them is consistency, continuously doing day in and day out. This information isn't rocket science. It's just you have to do it day in and day out consistently so you can look good, feel good, and be happy. Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay, let's take 1 minute and write down our comments and